leaders. So you've got to recognize my leadership role as a person. And being a leader doesn't mean I'm undermining you as an individual. So the 50-50 must be clearly understood. The other aspect for me, which is important to worry, notwithstanding the fact that we are one, we are a partner, but I'm an individual as well. I've got my own programs. It doesn't mean, or if I'm working, I'm a son to somebody, I'm an uncle to somebody, the fact that I'm with you, I must forgo those and have a program which doesn't recognize that I've got programs as an individual. So you've got to understand what I'm an individual. And my last point is, two last points, as an individual, you also need your space. You know, there are instances where you need to sit down as a person and reflect on certain things. So it doesn't mean when I want to reflect on those things and you encroach on my space, the government have a problem. So you must recognize that I've got that space. My last point, there are instances where your previous either relationships has an effect on the current. And an example, you'll find your previous relationship, your boyfriend or whoever cheated you, answered your WhatsApps and all those things. Now, how do you do it? You speak wrong, okay, this fellow who communicated with
WhatsApp.
Yeah, and they say, we'll talk about one it or no, you know what? And I mean, you know, there are instances where, you find there's communication by SMS. As managers, as senior, whatever. There's that interaction, that interact with colleagues and all those things. But you want to say, no, look, it's my time, you don't have to communicate. What the heck, life stops. And for me, life doesn't. I mean, Elijah and Romella WhatsApp and they're like, I respond. But they're like, no, it's my time. Forget about what Elijah. Elijah doesn't want to have. You get those things. So it's you need to understand for it. Go for now, but we've got, an 8 hour, and then we need to understand that there's communication, there's interaction with other people.
This is why we're having problems in relationships. He's making his point. Yeah. You agree with it, you don't agree with it, he's making his point. Exactly. Why do we have to find ourselves, no. Why don't you listen and understand where he's coming from? And the two of you deliberate on the matter, you find a conclusion. That's how he views his life as a man. Is it not best for you to go in there and say, let me understand that part of your life, in order for me to be able to relate to you? You've already discarded what he's saying anyway. What are your chances of understanding him? Yeah. You will never. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. And he's not saying, I won't have time for you. He's saying, can we create rules that govern our relationship? And this is how I would like things to happen in this relationship. What do you propose? Then you talk about, you negotiate. I get it. He's not becoming dictatorial. I get it. You talk about it. I get it. Now, we're speaking about a 50-50 issue. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to tell all of you sitting here, if you are in a relationship, forget about 50-50. There's no such thing. Men don't wear pets. Men don't wear pets. I want you to always remember that. So there cannot be 50-50 in a relationship. Men don't wear wigs. No, it doesn't matter. We cut our hair, it's 25 rand, actually. Now, if we have to go 50-50 sharing on charity, how are we going to share it? I need to understand, ladies, if you are going to go into a relationship and demand 50-50, how are we going to share it? Because your hair is 3,000, mine is 300. So what should happen now? Should I take the 2.7 to other things? All I'm saying to you is that go and create a system that works. The 50-50 is not working at all. And I'll tell you why. Because there are some things that you do, and you do them at your 80% level. There are something that he does at 20% level. And you will never ever get it right, whether you like it or not. If you're going to go at 50-50, he's going to fail, you're going to fail. Operate at the level of your strength. If you are earning 100K, he's earning 20K, contribute to 100K. let him contribute his 20K. Don't put the poor guy under pressure and say, no, let me put 80 aside and I bring 20. Let's talk. That's 50-50, isn't it? Is that going to work? It's not going to work. If you are the one who's strong in whatever, do that. I mean, there are men sitting there who likes to cook. If he likes to cook, let him cook. As simple as that. Why are we making it an issue? Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Next.
Now, I think one thing in Gairatan from Basadi, he got a lot of
Harawa Mustari. We did not fall from the tree.
Yeah.
Simple English.
I believe, I don't know how true is that. When they really found the one, the first person who met that person, Kimama. Or your ba, you wanted this person. You want to be someone to warn her, to be sure. Erobunyal, Robisa Kohai. You are Nalena are for me relationship, you are not rewarded somewhere a complaint. Tawazaya, Jovisa Kohai. I was taught for Kohai. When you marry that person, what is it? Mohai. Meaning you are part of that family. Women have this thing about no. Your family. You see, then you are secluding or dividing yourself from the very same family. Okay, then they are being saved. Now it's like, okay, where do you fall? Are you, because I'm bringing you here to come and raise also this family. Because remember, as a man, I'm tasked with raising that family. Making sure that family are all the same. But I can in life every day. So when I bring you in there, I'm bringing you in there to say, these are the people that together we're going to raise. We're going to live our own life, build it, but these people also we're going to build because Haka will time, like I said. The other point, relationship two. It's for two, the experience is for 2 by 2. Women have a tendency about that the experiences and bring them in. Hey, this is like blanketing. You know, Mama, so. Now, from there on, you know, all eyes on you, cameras and everything. Any move, anything you guys have, any semblant there that was spoken of externally from your relationship becomes part of your relationship. When we are in a boat and we are rowing together, I believe, or I have to trust you enough for it. The part of it will build the both of us. One guy was saying, and I believe that's for all guys. Once you really feel that thing from a woman, that it's like we're not really together. You start, or you adjust all the time. You start to like, you know, close the doors and shut and keep quiet. You say, okay, I'm a bad guy, okay, I'm a bad guy. So, as much as we are still growing, we depend on you also to grow certain parts and aspects about ourselves that we don't know about. When you break us down, then we do take a short left and we break down most of the time.
And we do, very bad. Now, I think sometimes we tend to not to understand the role of family. We take a relationship and give it to family. Instead of us using them on the advisory level and if there's a need. Now, and I'm going to encourage all of you to have great relations with your in-laws. Have them, but have boundaries. If a mother-in-law is a problem, get her out of your lives. As simple as that. Because you can, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. And I said this, last week I was at a wedding and I said that your parents have been given an opportunity just like you to make their marriages work. And if they did not make it work, they cannot make it your problem and come now to want to work in your marriage. I want you to understand, Majita, especially Nagomaragama. I want you to understand that. You have your own life, you have to raise your own children, you have to protect your own wife. And protect her even from your own family. No mother of mine should speak ill of my wife behind my wife's back. I should not go to my mother and say, "Wait, mama, hape musadi wa ka o ka rota mpola." If I am a parent and my child comes to me and say that to me, I should be saying to my child, is it right for you to speak like that in the absence of your partner? Don't you want to call him or her? The two of you come here, say the very same thing that you are saying to me, so that I can be able to help you. If I cannot help you, my child, you are my child. I am more likely to take your side. Rather go to Elijah Masubelele. Those who will not have interest in your life that can help you without taking sides. Now, usually, we love it when people side with us. I want you to hear me. Now, when people side with us, we don't want to upset them. So all the time, we are going to root for them and say, our families cannot be wrong. They are always right. So then we're going to make our partners to be wrong. So because why? Our parents can't be wrong. Our parents can be very wrong. Our parents can be very, very, very wrong. Most of the people here who have divorced and got married again is as a result of families. And guess what they say? Hi, oh, really? Good luck. You will kill a snake with one head, you will bring another one with two heads. I'm telling you now. Some of you, and I know I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis, they tell me these things. Or if it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't have divorced him. Or her, vice versa. So I don't want you to be misled, guys. Now, research says 50% of marriages are going to end in divorce. I don't want you to be in the 50% that end up in divorce. And we're going to fix that. Gents?
Dumela. I don't know if I'll be able to set my point across.
Did you come alone? Did you come alone?
No.
Who did you come with? Stand up. Stand up. Let's see her. Stand up. No. Stand up. Where is she? Stand up. Ask her to stand up. Ask her to stand up. We're not going to continue. Ask her to stand up. Where is she? Please ask her to stand up. Okay. Please tell her she's pretty. She's beautiful. Tell her she's beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Okay. I'm sure people you can carry on.
Okay. I really would love for women to understand that no relationship is uniform. The conception of a perfect relationship that is being simulated in Hollywood, the conception of a perfect relationship that is being simulated when they're reading novels, your Daniel Steele and the likes, it's not uniform when it comes to our relationship. I'm an individual with my own feelings, with my own character that were built over time. And the same goes for you. And when we come together, we are coming together to build on a level that was somehow influenced by certain things outside. And when you bring your expectations to the relationship, and you're not willing to let go of certain expectations, or you're not willing to compromise at some level, then that in its own, it's a ticket to a failing relationship or a failing marriage, irrespective of how much knowledge you have. Because you attended a seminar and you were told this in the seminar, that doesn't mean it's a right in our relationship. It might be right because of the experiences that those people went through, but we didn't go through those experiences. You must be able to communicate how you're feeling with me. I mustn't go certain things. Let it not be that everything I do piles up until it's when you've had enough now and you want to tell me everything that I thought was normal in our relationship. If me coming back late, it's a problem for you. Tell me the very first day that you notice the trait. Because if you don't tell me, you are reinforcing it. It's normal for me, because when I come home late, there is nothing wrong. If me doing 1, 2, or 3 doesn't sit well with you, tell me the very minute you notice it. If me changing a certain behavior that you used to value in our relationship. Tell me when you start seeing that I've changed. At the very minute, don't wait for it to be a behavior for me, and suddenly I must change because whether you attended a seminar or you went to speak to the certain partner, pastor. And again, sometimes I need to be myself, independent of you. Never mind the fact that we are in a relationship. Your friend might be going for a vacation that you know very much I can afford. And because you're working, you can very much afford the vacation. But at this point in time, I don't want to go to that vacation. So allow me to be me and allow us to be us when we have to be us. We need to somehow exist independently and be able to coexist in the relationship. And lastly, you might be working, I'm also working, we can afford certain things. But the fact that we have money now doesn't mean we must get what you want now. We need to sit down, value if it's a priority to have it now. Can we wait for some time for us to have it, or can we rather not have it at all? Because it doesn't add any value to the growth of us in a relationship or as a couple. Because certain things that you value, I value them as well. But they are not important in the existence of our relationship. So women need to also be able to understand that. 50-50 for me, it doesn't come in a form of money. 50-50 comes in a form of being able to communicate. If you can tell me how you feel, and I can tell you how I feel, and we somehow can find a balance, that's the 50-50. It doesn't matter if you have to compromise 60 and I have to compromise 40, but when we are at an optimal balance level, then we can function as a relationship. So problem is, because you have 5,000 in the pocket today, and you thought you wanted to watch this specific movie at the time that I thought I wanted to rest, we must somehow have it, because you also contributing to the relationship. It shouldn't work that way. 50-50 has to come for me, and this is me. It has to come in a communicative way, and we need to talk about it. And the fact that I'm a psychologist at work doesn't mean I have to be a psychologist in my house. After 4, I knock off I want to be a husband in this relationship. After 4, I knock off I want to be a partner in this relationship. I don't want to be a psychologist as I do at work. So allow me time to be a partner in the house. Don't sulk and somehow expect me to know because I was trained. It shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. So in a nutshell, I think for women, they need to understand that there is no umbrella relationship. There is no perfect relationship that comes on the basis that we have 20,000 in the account. It comes with the basis that we are able to respect one another, we are able to communicate effectively. And when we do communicate, we find common ground that we all of us are optimally going to function. So I think before I go to sit down, I also want to send this point across there. When we fight, we're not fighting. You're not fighting because you're right. And you're not fighting me because I'm wrong. You're fighting because our relationship has a problem and we need to put it back where it was. So don't stand at the corner of the room and throw insults. Because those insults, even though we can find a solution to this problem, those insults are somehow stuck in my subconscious. Whether you say them again or not, I know you once said them. I know that's what you think of me. So don't say things without thinking. And when you do say certain things, make it a point that whatever you say, you're saying in the midst of this fight, it's because you want to find a solution to the problem, not to be right. So yeah. Thank you.
Ari Kalafi. You need to go get help as well. Because if the way you spoke and what you spoke it could be a challenge that you are anticipating, you will need to deal with it, unfortunately. Now, I don't want to say you're going to have a lot of challenges, but I want to tell all of you sitting at the back, I came to a conclusion that marriage doesn't make sense. I came to a conclusion that marriage doesn't make sense. And I wanted to project something here for you so that Lipon Nekamatwali. In one of the books that I read, it's called the Bible, Paul says, it is better that you don't get married. Because married people are going to have a lot of challenges in this lifetime. But he says, but I want to spare you from those. Did you hear what I said? I want to spare you from those. And you go again to another scripture in the book of Matthew, where Jesus is talking to the Pharisees and his disciples were there. And they said to him, if that's the case between a man and a woman, it is better for a man not to marry. He said, yes, this word is not given to all men. Now, if you're going to go into a relationship and have absolute rules, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be hurt. If you're going to go into a relationship and say, and I'm just going to make an example, sorry, and you might disagree with me, it's okay. If you're going to go into a relationship and say, yes, we have 5,000 now, but I don't want to go to the movie, and you expect to have happiness in your home, you are wrong. You're going to be very much unhappy. And I'm going to tell you because why. Most of the things that we do and the way we behave is as a result, and I'm going to talk about it now when I start to speak, it's as a result of our programming. He's a psychologist, he understands what programming is. And he said with his own mouth, the things that you said are going to be kept somewhere in the subconscious. He's 100% correct. But he knows that in psychology, there's something we call motivated forgetting. He knows that. And that's why I said, to me, marriage doesn't make sense. Because it's my responsibility to motivate myself to forget what you said and forgive it. I need to forgive it. Because if I cannot forgive it, I'll be dealing with you at the level of hate at all times. I want you to understand that. And that's why I say marriage doesn't make sense. Because that means, and I hope and I trust that you are a man of God as well. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, you men, you're going to lay your life down for your woman.
Yeah.
And I want you to understand that part. I want you to understand that part. Sorry. I want you to understand that part. Now, what's the point, honestly, of bringing a woman in my life if I cannot lay my life down for her?